Unlike many tourist destinations, Jamaica, for example, Bali can generate income outside of tourism. Later, you'll see that Bali is a fertile ground for designers. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit, tourism dried up and people in it were forced to seek different work. Tourism accounted for 60% of Bali's income, so the pandemic was a huge blow to Bali's economy. Today, in August 2024, tourism is back with a vengeance. The war in Ukraine added even more tourists, Russians and Ukrainians who wanted to escape the war. How are the non-tourist industries doing now? They're still going strong. Maybe finding workers is a little harder. Statista is an organization that collects and sells statistical data. Their website shows that these are Bali's most important non-tourist exports. Number 1 is seafood. Number 2 is jewelry. Number 3 is apparel. Number 4 is wood products. Number 5 is furniture. My research uncovered more gems. Number 6 is vanilla. Number 7 is coffee. Number 8 is seaweed. Number 9 is farmed coral. We'll explore each industry in this video by watching other YouTube videos on each subject. All links to the videos are in the description. At the end of this video, you might view Bali as a place to do business, not just to play and relax. A place to turn your designs into products, whether jewelry, fashion, or furniture. Interestingly, Hawaii also exports coffee and seafood, but the cost of living is expensive, making labor costs expensive. Hawaii is far from the continental United States, while Bali is a ferry ride to Java. Let's watch the videos. The first industry that we'll explore is seafood. It's the largest export industry in the list of Bali's non-tourist industries. We'll focus on tuna, but other fish and shrimp are exported too. Bali's fish processors primarily get their tuna from 2 sources: local catches and eastern Indonesia. First, local catches. The waters around Bali, particularly near Benoa Harbor, are known for tuna fishing. Many fishing boats unload their catches directly at the harbor, supplying fresh tuna to local processors. Second, eastern Indonesia. Indonesia's rich fishing grounds, especially in areas like Sumbawa Island and the eastern islands, are another source of tuna for fish processors. These fish are often caught by larger fishing companies and transported, usually frozen, to Bali for processing. Additionally, Bali has a barramundi fish farm. Here are the videos showing Bali's seafood industry. The links are in the description. The first video is titled Life on Board an Indonesian Fishing Boat, 72 Hours on a Tuna Fishing Boat, published by TreaderTube 1 year ago. An amazing documentary on traditional hook and line tuna fishing using bamboo poles, without nets, in Bitung, North Sulawesi. It's a must-watch. The second video is titled Welcome to Phillips, Bali. Published by Phillips Seafood 10 months ago. Barramundi Aquaculture in Bali by Australian Phillips Seafood. Phillips Foods Troy Keys takes you through a tour of the Barramundi Aquaculture project in Bali, where Phillips grows the best barramundi on the market. The third video is titled Damena Valley Fresh Fish for Life, published by Damena Pro 4 years ago. A tour of Damena seafood processing plants. Fresh fish are caught by line and hook throughout Indonesia's islands, processed and then packed under strict FDA regulations and distributed from beautiful Bali. Statista reports that in 2022, Bali exported $103 million of jewelry, making it Bali's second biggest export after seafood. The island's reputation for handcrafted, intricate designs, often incorporating local motifs and materials, has made Bali's jewelry highly sought after. The first video is titled Inside Bali's Biggest Gold Store, Everything 18 Carats, published by Zuzu LMTV 11 months ago. Zuzu, an Australian originally from South Sudan, gives us a tour of Bali's largest jewelry store. The store has endless creations in gold and silver. The second video is titled Making Our Own Silver Jewelry in Bali, Must Do in UBUD, published by Travels to Freedom 2 years ago. Dion and Louis, a couple from London, take a class in UBUD on how to make their own silver rings. You should try it. The third video is titled Spotlight on the John Hardy Workshop and Kapal Bamboo Boutique in the stunning area of Mambal, published by Bali Buddies 1 year ago. A sneak peek at what to expect from a visit to John Hardy's workshop in Mambal. It's free. Go there. The fourth video is titled John Hardy, The Story Behind the Balinese Artisanship, published by Lemon Jewelers 1 year ago. John Hardy explains why Bali's jewelers are the best artisans. The fifth video is titled Jewelry Designers Alex Hosick Jungle Paradise, A Peek in Paradise, Season 4, Episode 2, Bali Interiors, published by Bali Interiors 1 year ago. A tour of Alex Hosick's home in Bali. She was the design director of John Hardy, but now she has her own company. This is where it all started for her, at alexhosick.com. Statista reports that Bali exported about $73 million in 2022. Bali is home to many fashion designers. The island inspires creativity. It's a magnet for artistic talent. The Balinese have a long tradition of artistry and workmanship. I had a custom shirt made in 1 day for $2 US. The first video is titled Johnny Koda Studio in Bali, published by Johnny Koda 2 years ago. A quick tour of Johnny Koda manufacturing. The second video is titled Manufacturing Visit in Bali, published by Solsi Swim 11 months ago. The designer of Solsi Swim gives a quick tour of her factory. The third video is titled Factory Tour and Walkthrough, the Yogi and Boo Clothing Factory in Bali, published by Yogi and Boo Clothing Manufacturing in Bali. 4 years ago, the owner of Yogi and Boo Clothing Manufacturing gives a quick tour of his shop. The fourth video is titled A Day in the Life of a Fashion Designer Living in Bali, published by Little Joe Woman 2 years ago. An Australian fashion designer in Bali shows her life. The fifth video is titled Australian Fashion Designer Home in Bali, A Peek in Paradise, Season 6, Episode 4, Bali Interiors, published by Bali Interiors 3 months ago. Zoe Paul, creative director of Mr. Zimmy, an Australian brand that started in Bali, shows her villa. The sixth video is titled How I Started My Fashion Brand in Bali. My personal story is finally here, published by Start Your Fashion Business 1 year ago. The story of how a fashion designer started This Is a Love Song brand in Bali. Bali wood products are carvings and decorative items made of wood. The Balinese made these long before tourists arrived. Though most carvers are men, women practice the art too. From their temples, you can see that they are great stone carvers too. In 2022, Bali exported $43 million worth of wood products. The first video is titled World's Best Wood Carving Destination Bali, published by Murray Wilkinson 2 years ago. Murray visits the shop of what he considers the best wood carver. The second video is titled Bali Woodcraft, Wood Handicraft Bali, Bali Handicraft Supplier, published by Charcoal Export Network 3 years ago. A display of various handicrafts from a supplier. The third video is titled The Biggest Teak Wood Products Manufacturer in Bali, Cinta Akar, published by Cinta Akar 3 years ago. A display of Cinta Akar teak wood products. Bali furniture offers a perfect blend of aesthetics, quality, and cultural richness, making it a desirable choice for many. Statista reported that Bali exported $42 million in 2022. The first video is titled Real Reasons Why Bali Furniture is Better Over Any Other Furniture, published by Mojo Boutique 7 months ago. A presentation by Mojo Boutique founders who come from Switzerland on Balinese craftsmanship. The second video is titled Custom-Made Furniture and Furnishings from Bali and Java, Indonesia, published by Zendu 2 years ago. A display of custom design and manufacture of Zendu furniture. The third video is titled Beautiful Furniture in Bali, Bali Bargain Hunter, published by Tatak Rifai Channel 7 years ago. A display of finished wood furniture, The fourth video is titled Buying Furniture in Bali and Shipping to Australia, published by Excess Luggage 5 months ago. An Australian couple orders furniture from Bali. Indonesia is the second largest producer, accounting for about a quarter of the world's vanilla. 65% of production goes to the U.S. The Indonesian Vanilla Farmers Association, PPVI, says 43% of the nearly 600 farmers it has trained are aged between 25 and 35, a typically tech-savvy demographic. Vanilla prices were as high as $600 per kilogram. The first video is titled Vanilla Story at Mupubati Farm, published by Niskala Studio 3 years ago. The story of how a filmmaker turned into a vanilla farmer. Turn on Chrome's language reactor extension to get the translation. He learned about agriculture through his documentaries. He hopes to inspire young people to return to farming. The second video is titled Vanilla Story, the Series, Number 1, Bali, Indonesia, published by Vanilla Indonesia 2 years ago. A tutorial on vanilla farming techniques. Turn on Chrome's language reactor extension to get the translation. Balinese coffee, particularly the Kintamani variety, is known for its unique flavor profile and has achieved Geographical Indication, or GI, status in Indonesia. This prestigious designation ensures the coffee beans originate from a specific region and meet certain quality standards. While Bali's coffee production isn't massive compared to other Indonesian islands like Sumatra, it's a growing industry and exports are on the rise. Here are some interesting facts about Balinese coffee exports. Increase in exports. In 2020, Bali exported 87.7 tons of coffee beans, and this number jumped to 154.9 tons in 2021. Shifting markets. Traditionally, Balinese coffee was primarily exported to Japan. However, it's gaining popularity in other markets like the United States. The first video is titled Coffee Production in Bali, Indonesia, a quick glimpse, published by Sweet Maria's Coffee 9 years ago. A trip to smallholder farms in Bali. The second video is titled Starbucks Reserve Dewata Bali, exclusive tour of Asia's only reserve store, published by Daniel and Mallory 11 months ago. A young English couple visits Starbucks Dewata Reserve. If you're a coffee enthusiast or simply love discovering unique coffee experience, this is a must-watch. The third video is titled Bali Coffee Tour Inside Mass Plantations and Tasting Experience, Kopi Luwak, UBUD, published by Bellin Family Global Experience 1 month ago. Tour of a plantation in UBUD. The fourth video is titled Amazing Local Experience at Coffee Plantation in UBUD, Life of Bali, published by Tasty TV 3 years ago. Tour of Kumulilir Plantation in UBUD. The fifth video is titled Trying the Most Expensive Coffee in the World, Made from Cat Poo, Bali's Luwak Coffee Plantation, published by Chad Baptiste 3 weeks ago. Tour of Satria Coffee Plantation. Indonesia produces more than 75% of global tropic seaweed, and the industry is characterized by short supply chains and state-of-the-art processing units. This enables the processors of seaweed extracts to guarantee quality, traceability, and supply while maintaining price stability. It makes Indonesia a key supplier of natural binding solutions to the food, cosmetic, and personal care industry worldwide. Bali's role in seaweed production has declined with the growth of tourism. There has been some revival since the COVID-19 pandemic. The first video is titled, "The Process of the Best Seaweed in Indonesia," published by Ina Seaweed 1 year ago. This video shows how seaweed is processed in Indonesia. The second video is titled, "Bali Locals Turn to Seaweed Farming After Losing Tourism Jobs to COVID-19 Pandemic," published by the South China Morning Post 3 years ago. A diving instructor turned to seaweed farming during the pandemic. The third video is titled, "How Seaweed is Made, Bali, Indonesia," published by The Monkeys 3 years ago. A visit to a seaweed farm in Nusa Lembongan during the pandemic, interviewing the farmer and his wife in English. Note that it's the only English interview of a farmer and his wife in Indonesia I found. The husband and wife doing the interview are a Polish and Indonesian couple. 80% of Balinese who worked in tourism returned to seaweed farming during the pandemic. Indonesia is the leading exporter of farmed coral globally. Coral farmers have made significant strides in developing sustainable coral farming practices to meet the demands of the aquarium trade while protecting natural reefs. Bali is currently the primary region in Indonesia known for its coral farming industry. The island has been at the forefront of developing sustainable coral farming practices. It has successfully established itself as a major exporter of farmed coral. While other parts of Indonesia may have emerging coral farming initiatives, Bali's established infrastructure, expertise, and focus on the industry make it the most prominent center for coral cultivation in the country. The first video is titled, "We Visit a Coral Wholesaler in Bali," published by Fragbox Corals 1 year ago. A visit to a coral wholesaler showing controlled environments for the coral. The second video is titled, "Coral Farming in Bali," published by Fragbox Corals 1 year ago. A visit to a coral farm in the sea about 3.5 feet deep wearing wetsuits. The third video is titled, "World's Most Expensive Coral, Amazing Ocean Farm Coral Agriculture Technology," published by George Mavrakis 2 years ago. A visit to a secretive coral farm using blue flashlights to make the colors glow. The fourth video is titled, "Where Our Corals Come From, Visiting a Coral Farm in Bali," published by Sea Friendly Reef 8 months ago. A visit to a coral farm in Bali. I hope you're convinced that Bali has income streams that have nothing to do with visitors, i.e. tourists and digital nomads. We covered 9 different industries, so Bali's economy is broad-based. This gives Bali a resilient economy compared to many tourist destinations. An economy full of creative designers from around the world. Maybe you'll be the next hot designer? I want to cover a more entertaining subject in the next video. To be specific, I want to cover Indonesian musicians and singers. Did you know that an Indonesian finger-picking guitarist known as Alip Bata, who performs on YouTube, has 6 million subscribers? Not every Indonesian musician has such a large audience. Joey Alexander, a jazz pianist, has 109,000 subscribers. Voice of Bacheprot, a hijab-wearing female heavy metal band, has 369,000 subscribers. I'll include singers too, like Putri Aryani from America's Got Talent. She has 2.02 million subscribers. I hope you enjoyed seeing another side of Bali's economy. Bali is a fertile ground for creative talent. If you like my video, please hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you for watching.